Lolich was one of the stars of the 1968 World Series. Last year, he set a club record with 16 strikeouts in a game twice. Smitty hitting it to right. Will it stay fair? It does. Bouncing into the corner, Kaline up with a ball, and Smith is at second base with a double. Reggie Smith doubles down the line and there's a home run. Horton bangs one to left. Yastrzemski throws the ball into Petrocelli, and Willie Horton has a hitter. This could be trouble. Scotty flips the lead, but it's safe at first base. Northrop is on with an infield. Base hit. Horton to third. Smith firing the ball in, cut off by Scotty. It bounces away from him. Throw down to second. Now a throw home. And Moses puts the tag on Northrop. He's out. So furious action here for a moment. Horton came in with a third run on Wirtz single into center field. Scotty trying to cut it off, and then they made the play at the plate on Northrop, which would go 8-3-4-2. And so, at the end of one, Detroit leads by a score of 3-0. Gutierrez safe at first base. He beat it. Now there's an indication of the great speed that Alvarado has, because that ball, Johnny, was hit. Gutierrez is from Coro, Venezuela. Line drive, base hit to center field. Lead off man on in the second inning for the Tigers. They had shot, ground ball. Rico knocks it down, but the run is home. 2 more hits and leave 2. And this year, what a throw he made in Boston the other day. Line drive, base hit to left field. Andrews goes to second base as Willie Horton throws the ball in. So the Red Sox are trying to get something moving here in this third inning. Ball 4. Petrocelli gets a walk, and that sends home the first Boston run of the ball game as Mike Andrews comes across. And Mike Rourke, the pitching coach. 3. In the middle of the third, it's Detroit.
Ed Phillips getting the strike in there, called strike 1. Gutierrez has singled his only time up. He scored a run. This is the 4th inning. The Tigers leading the Red Sox 4-1. Foul ball. Ripped sharply. Caught a flat sidearm curve off Phillips, but he drilled it foul. Ball. Phillips has been tough. He came in to relieve starter Bill Lee with 2 outs, couple on in the second inning, gave up an infield hit, and then has gotten the next 4 batters. Count is a ball and 2 strikes to Gutierrez. Some artwork there in the stands. Two and two. Off Alvarado's glove. Petrocelli trying to make the play, but not in time. And we're looking at that again with Alvarado trying to cut it off in front of shortstop Petrocelli. Rico made a good recovery, but not in time. Back live now. That's an error charged to Alvarado. Gutierrez on Alvarado's error. Mickey Lolich trying to bunt. Nose is looking down at first base. Nobody to cover on Gutierrez, though. Well, what about it, John? That Rico's ball all the way?
No, anytime a third baseman can come over and cut that ball off, it's a shorter throw, easier throw, and so forth.
The foul bunt, he's out. Lolich trying to sacrifice, and Moses catching the spinning foul ball, 1 down.
I don't see how that of course, Rico backing up the play, but a lot of times, Ned, a third baseman will take everything he can because it's just a
shorter.
Well, that's right. He's
a better
15
angle
feet
and everything.
Closer, and all he does is turn and flip, and you don't give the runner so much going down the line.
Especially if the ball is slowly hit, I guess. There's ball outside to Stanley.
First time we've seen him miss a ball like that with his glove hand because he's just sure.
Gutierrez at first base there, being held by Scott. Tigers ahead 4-1. We're in the 4th inning. Two 2-0. Stanley was rather fortunate on that he didn't go around on it. He would have looked foolish going around on that ball. It fooled him outside, really. But it was ball 2. Bat and ball go. Alvarado can't pick it up. Runners are safe at first and second. Gutierrez at second base. A base hit for Mickey Stanley on that number. There was nothing that Alvarado could do but play it the way he tried to, pick it up barehanded. But Stanley is very fast, and I doubt that he would have had him anyway. So Stanley has a base hit of the infield variety, definitely. That's the third infield hit for the Tigers. And they've had several solid shots in the first and second inning off lead. Tigers threatening again. Runners at first and second, 1 out. There's been an error and an infield hit. Strike to Dick McAuliffe. Eight hits now for the Tigers. They lead 4-1. One ball, 1 strike. McAuliffe has hit a 2-run homer and has walked.
Well, there weren't many balls hit in the air yesterday. As a matter of fact, the Red Sox hit none. They've only hit 1 there today. Or rather, the Tigers have.
McAuliffe with that crazy stance of his. Lashing one to right center, but Reggie Smith is there. Deep enough for the runner at second, Gutierrez, to move to third. 2 down. It's the hardest hit ball off Eddie Phillips since he came in. Line drive to center. Gutierrez is at third base, and Stanley is holding at first as Kaline comes to the plate. Kaline grounded to short in the first inning. He had an infield hit off Rico's glove, driving in a run in the second. And Phillips and Andrews have a word as Ray Jarvis gets ready to throw, or is throwing, in the Red Sox bullpen. There is Ray, just got up, starting to loosen up. High to left center. Yastrzemski wants it. Out number 3, and Phillips gets out of a jam. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 left. After 4 innings, Detroit 4, the Red Sox 1. Yastrzemski will lead off against Mickey Lolich. Yastrzemski, Scott, and Petrocelli. The Red Sox trailing 4-1. Yaz has struck out twice. Mickey Lolich has gotten him twice on breaking pitches. Strike 1. Same way he started him off last time, pitching him tight with a fastball and then dumping sliders and curves on the outside corner. One ball, 1 strike. Carl has had bad luck against Lolich in the past. He was 2 for 10 against him last year, 3 for 16 in the past 2 seasons. That is past McAuliffe's glove, and Yaz is on. Base hit for Yastrzemski, leading off the 5th. The Red Sox now have four hits. George Scott is up. He has walked and been hit by a pitch. Watch Yastrzemski at first. Moves into a good lead, but holds. There is a ground ball to short. Second. Double play. 6-4 to 3. Taylor made. And there are 2 down. So Lolich is getting it done today, or having it done for him when necessary. And there are 2 outs and nobody on with Petrocelli up. Rico has popped up, and he walked with the bases loaded in the 3rd to drive in a run. One strike. Tigers 4, Red Sox 1. Down at first base is Mickey Stanley, having a little knee problem, or is McAuliffe, isn't it? Dick McAuliffe having trouble with his knee. He had a knee problem before.
Yaz went into him pretty good, Ned, and I think he might have just shook him up a little.
On the double play ball, Yaz tried to take out slide on him, actually, but he rubbed it into him, and McAuliffe got the throw off. 1-2 the count to Petrocelli. Base hit. That's what usually happens following a double play. Rico slamming a base hit to center. Hit number 5 for the Red Sox. Tony Canigliaro is up. He is fouled out and flied to right. He's hit late both times off Lolich, hitting to first base and to right field, the opposite field. Little changeup, and Maddox throws Tony out to end the inning. Lolich crossed him up by starting him off with a slow curve. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 left. Red Sox now have stranded 8. And the score at the end of 4.5 is Detroit 4 and Boston 1. Here at Tiger Stadium, the Tigers batting in the 5th inning and leading 4-1. Horton, Northrup, and Freehan, 4, 5, 6 hitters in the batting order, will face Eddie Phillips. Phillips has worked 2 1/3 innings of scoreless relief. And down goes Horton, hit by a pitch, and that hurt. Willie Horton is really hurt. On the ball hit him on the right wrist or hand. Cold day, and something like that can really powder you. Let's watch that again. Horton obviously in pain. Now we're back live, and there he is. That ball got him as the ball tailed in on him, as a sidearm fastball will. It'll ride in on a right-handed batter, and Willie couldn't get out of the way quite fast enough, and that ball really hurt him. Phillips talking to Mike Andrews there, the Tiger trainer. Kind of a quandary as to what to do about Horton. He doesn't even want it looked at right now. Put some ethyl fluoride on it, possibly. Spray it a little bit. Take some of the immediate pain away. Got him apparently on the back of the wrist, on the top of the hand, which would hurt anyway, but on a day like today when it's cold, makes it more so. So Horton will get first base if he wants it as we start the 5th inning for the Tigers. Tigers leading 4-1. Cleveland is leading Washington 6-4 at the end of 5 innings. Milwaukee Brewers are leading the White Sox 4-0 after 2. Baltimore has a 3-1 lead over the Yankees after 6 innings. In the National League, the Cardinals lead the Pirates 2-1 after 4. It's the Chicago Cubs 6, Montreal 1 after 4 innings. Giants lead the Cincinnati Reds 2-1 after 3. And the Mets lead the Phils 4-0 after 4. Los Angeles at Atlanta tonight. San Diego at Houston tonight. Kansas City plays at California in the American League tonight. Eddie Phillips, I imagine, will want some warm-ups right now as they're still looking at Willie Horton and his damaged hand. They want to see if he can swing the bat. Horton's a pretty tough man to bring down. He's solid. He's like George Scott, very hard to hurt. He's staying in the game. Horton talking to first base coach Wally Moses. George Scott there. Jim Northrup is the batter. Ed Phillips on the mound, runner at first base and nobody out. Tigers ahead 4-1. Ball 1 to Northrup. Jim has had an infield hit and popped up. Ball 2-0. Strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Willie Horton, first base. Good curveball, strike 2, 2-2. Strike 3, good pitch. Snaking across the inside corner as he jammed Northrup and struck him out. That's the second strikeout for Ed Phillips. Batter now Freehand. Ball 1. Bill Freehand, count of 1-0, has flied to right and struck out. 1-1. Make it 2-0.
Ned, I'm watching Phillips. I didn't think he could throw this hard. He's got a good fastball. And of course, when he deals from the side there, he's tough, and he's got good motion with his pitches.
Seems a pretty cool cucumber out there, John. There's a strike, 2-1. Youngster coming up, and the 3 appearances he's made, he has been very poised on the mound.
I didn't think he could throw this hard, but he has a good fastball.
Facing a tough lineup now, though. There's Freehan taking ball 3. 3-1. Wind whipping around Tiger Stadium. Temperature about
37.
0, I'd say. There's ball 4, and Freehan is on. First walk given up. Here's Ray Jarvis throwing now again in the bullpen for Boston. Elliot Maddox getting his second turn at the plate. He came into play in the 3rd inning when Word had to leave with an injury. Maddox grounded out his only time up. 2 on, 1 out. There's a strike call. It'll probably be Phillips' last inning anyway. If he gets out of it, he's due to bat next inning. They'll probably hit for him. Ball 1, 1-1 to Maddox. Rico can't handle it. Everybody's safe. Error. Usually reliable Mr. Petrocelli trying for the double play. Obviously trying to get that ball around so it can make the double play. Booted it. And the bases are full. That's the 3rd Red Sox error of the afternoon. And 2 of them have been behind Ed Phillips, who hadn't had much luck, but so far has stopped the Tigers from scoring off him. 3 on, 1 out, and Gutierrez up. Strike.
Gutierrez didn't believe that, Ned, for a minute, the way he looked at him.
I don't believe so. Horton at 3rd base. Freehan at 2nd. Maddox at 1st. Strike 2, fastball. 0-2 to Elliot Maddox. There are the base runners. Out at 2nd base there is Freehan. Over at 1st is Maddox.
That last
Horton
pitch to Gutierrez, Ned, he had a little smoke on that ball. That was a good hard fastball.
Tried to get him on a breaking pitch and almost did. It's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. 3 on, 1 out. Tigers leading 4-1 in the 5th inning. That's going to be out of play. Gutierrez getting just a piece of it. Gutierrez just trying to guard the plate now with 2 strikes. Phillips would like to strike him out because Lolich is up next. Ball 1. 1-2. Or, of course, he wouldn't mind a double play ball. Just getting a piece of it. Good stop by a youngster with a glove back in the grandstand there, the box seats. There he is.
And a left-hander to boot.
Yes, sir. Gloves as big as he is. One ball, two strikes. 3 on. Phillips pitching to Gutierrez. And it's fouled again. Caesar hangs in there. Rambunctious, rather happy, but chilled Saturday afternoon crowd here. They're got a lot of spirit. Struck him out. Bad pitch, but he went for it. Big strikeout for Phillips. That's his third. And now he'll face Lolich with the bases loaded. Mickey has sacrificed and fouled out trying to bunt. There you saw the strikeout. Pitch missed by Gutierrez. And Mickey Lolich takes a ball. Three on, 2 outs. Wow, deep to right. Canigliaro has it at the fence. Lolich bid for a grand slam, falls about 5 feet short. No runs, good pitching by Phillips. There were no hits, there was an error, and 3 were left, and the Tigers now have stranded 8. The end of 5, there's your score. Detroit 4 and Boston 1. Ed Phillips has done the job required of a long reliever and kept things at bay, hoping his team can catch up. The only catching up the Red Sox did, a bases-loaded walk to Petrocelli, and it's 4-1. Alvarado leading off, 1 for 2. Mickey Lolich has been wild at times, but in command. Strike. Lolich has given up 5 hits. He has walked 4 and struck out 5. Has hit a batter. One ball, 1 strike. Little pop-up. Stanley at first base, backpedaling. 1 out. Now it's Jerry Moses at the plate. On deck for the Red Sox to bat for Phillips will be Billy Canigliaro. Here's Moses. Ball 1. Billy C. on deck. He'll bat for Phillips. And Ray Jarvis will come in to pitch bottom of this inning. Base hit for Moses. Fair ball. Chased by Horton. Gets away from him. Moses digs in for second base. So Jerry Moses hits one down the line in left. And the Red Sox, with 1 out, have a runner at second base. And Billy Canigliaro coming up. That goes as a double all the way for Moses. 2-base hit. Billy Knig. First time up this year for him. Had a good spring in Winter Haven. And it's up the middle for a base hit. A slow start for Moses. He'll be held at third. Throw coming into Stanley. Moses was rooted at the spot for a moment. So Billy Canigliaro, in his first time up this year, stings a single to center. Batting for Ed Phillips. Last year, Billy had gone 2 for 4 against Lolich and had hit a home run against him. So he's no stranger to the left-hander. He singles. Runners are at first and third. Mike Andrews up. And the Red Sox start to swarm again. They've left 8 men on base in 5 innings. They've got 2 on now with 1 out. Mike has had fouled out and has walked twice, scored a run. Nice stop by Freehan, ball 1. Mike wants the pine tar rag. And a better purchase on the bat. One-0 the count. Strike, good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hiller and Timmerman are loosening up in the Tiger bullpen, Ned. Just got up a couple of minutes ago.
And it's going to be short to second to first. Double play again, and Lolich is off the hook again. Second double play that has helped him out in the last 2 innings. And there's your pitcher's greatest friend. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 left. They've stranded 9 at the end of 5 1/2. It's 4-1 Tigers. Well, Eddie Phillips did his job. In 3 1/3 innings of long relief, he gave up 2 hits, no runs, walked 1, struck out 3, and hit a batter.
You know, Ned, we might say this too about our relief pitching. It's been very good. And I thought Ken Brett yesterday did a great job. I mean, he threw the ball like he normally does. Had a good fastball.
And he was outstanding. Jarvis pitching to Mickey Stanley, and there's a base hit on the first pitch. Stanley hit the first pitch for a double in the first inning off Lee. He's gone for that first pitch a couple of times today. Tigers have a base runner with nobody out. And here's Dick McAuliffe. He had a 2-run homer in the first, walked in the second, lined to center field in the fourth. Paid attendance here today, 19,461. 19,461. A total of over 27,000 here. There's a strike called. 27,276 total. Good Saturday afternoon crowd with a temperature in the high 40s, I imagine, by now. 1-1 to McAuliffe. Here's Jarvis from Providence pitching to McAuliffe, who's a nutmegger from the state of Connecticut, around the Hartford area. Strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And it's by everybody, and that'll send Stanley to second base. Wild pitch charged to Ray Jarvis. Runner at second with nobody out, and the count is 2-2 now to McAuliffe. Tigers 4, Red Sox 1. This is the 6th inning. There's a check swing foul, 2-2. On deck, Al Kaline. Alvarado to Scott, and Stanley holds at second. One down. Ken Brett in the bullpen now for Boston. Did such a great job yesterday, but was the losing pitcher, giving up the double to Northrup. Here is Mr. Kaline. Has an infield hit in 3 trips. He has a run batted in. Strike. Kaline, by his hustle all spring in spring training, gave a few of the youngsters something to look at and to talk about, to watch him hustling around down there. He's been in the game since 1953. Youngest man to win a batting title in 55. Ball, and he still hustles. Plays the game for all it's worth.
You're absolutely right, Ned. This guy is one of the better ones in all of baseball or any given era.
There's no day at the beach either on deck. Horton.
No, sir.
Willie's pretty strong, too. And it's 1-2 to Kaline. Jarvis pitching to Kaline. Got him. Al strikes out. And now there are 2 down. Willie Horton has singled, fly to center, and been hit by a pitch. Tigers 4, the Red Sox 1. In a real grinder here at Tiger Stadium. Strike. Red Sox have stranded 9 runners. The Tigers have left 8. It's been that kind of ball game. 2 Tiger double plays have helped Mickey Lolich. There's been a Tiger runner thrown out at the plate. And a foul. Strike 2.
It was a big strikeout for Jarvis when he got Kaline, Ned. But I'll say one thing, he's throwing the ball well again.
His sinker is his out pitch. Petrocelli to Scott. That's all for the Tigers in the 6th inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. And after 6 complete, it's the Tigers 4 and the Red Sox 1.
Thank you, John. Reggie has doubled, singled, and been called out on strikes. Mickey Lolich has gone all the way for the Tigers. Strike 1. The Red Sox, Johnny, have certainly been getting some very good relief pitching, and again today, Eddie Phillips turned in a good job.
Very good, and I think Jarvis looks good again today, too. We're just not getting that base hit when we need it, Ken, and that's kind of tough.
1 ball, 1 strike on Smith. Yastrzemski is on deck, and Scott will be up third. Ground ball to Elliott Maddox. Good throw. Good play all the way, as a matter of fact. It was a tough hop for him. And when he got the ball, he really unleashed it with some power. 1 away in the 7th. And Carl Yastrzemski at the plate. Carl has struck out twice, and then the last time up, hit a ball to the right of McAuliffe that went through for a base hit. Stick got a glove on it, but couldn't contain it. It was hit sharply. Ball one. One and one. Strike. 1-2.
Ken, the pitch before that last one, that the last one, Carl looked around. But that pitch before, he made a good, tough pitch. That's a tough pitch for a left-hander to hit. The ball just kept boring in on Carl. That's tough.
Strike 3. 2 out in the 7th inning. That's the 6th strikeout for Lolich. He's had Yastrzemski 3 times. 2 down. And George Scott comes to the plate. George has walked, been hit by a pitch, and hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Strike. Russ gets the plate umpire looking the ball over, and now it goes back out to Mickey Lolich. Changeup. Strike 2. He's thrown a couple of beauties today. Every so often he can really throw a good one. There it is again. Strike 3, and that's all for Boston in the 7th inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left. After 6 1/2, the score is Detroit 4 and Boston 1. Last of the 7th, the Tigers lead 4-1, and Mickey Lolich really got Scotty with a couple of changeups. John, I know that you were a fellow as a batter with great bat control, but I suppose you were had. Everybody gets had by those once in a while.
We certainly have, Ken, and it's no sin that Scotty did what he did, because at least he had an idea. He was trying to go right back through the middle with that change of pace, and that's a way to try and hit it.
Northrup rips one to right. Is it fair? No. Curved foul. 1 strike.
The only bad part about missing a change of pace, it's a little embarrassing, Ken, because it's an off-speed pitch, but the only way, and again, you have to watch the good hitters, and what they usually do, they just try to hit the ball, meet the ball, go back to the middle or to the opposite field. Then you keep you have a little bit better body balance.
Ooh. Oh, that ball hit Northrup on the foot, and he will go to first base. So he's on, hit by a pitch. Runner on first base. Here's another look at it as Jarvis delivers, and Northrup is hit by the pitch.
It's unusual. 3-in-1 game, Ken.
Yes.
3. Scotty, Northrup, and
Horton.
Phillips, yes. Willie Horton.
Freehand. Strike 1. Bill is 0 for 2 with a walk. Northrup has a base hit. He has also popped up, been called out, and then he was just hit by the pitch. 4-1 Detroit in the last of the 7th. Runner goes. Pitch is hit to Rico. He has to play it to first, and he gets freehand. So there's 1 out with a man on second base. Jim Northrup going to second. Elliott Maddox at the plate. I'll tell you one thing about Northrup. He was offered a contract by the Chicago Bears in football. They would have used him as a safety man or a split end had he gone. Foul back. I talked with him on the radio dugout show today, and he said, well, I don't know whether I would have made it. He said, I'm not sure if I had the speed, but he said, I would have liked the contact. He said, I like to hit people. Alvarado throws Maddox out at first. 2 out and a man on second base, and Cesar Gutierrez coming up. He has singled, reached on an error, and struck out swinging. We'll be on the air tomorrow. Hope that you will be joining us on television. 1:30 start tomorrow, and then we'll be on Monday morning at 10:55. 11 o'clock actually on TV. Ground ball, Scotty to Jarvis for the out, and at the end of 7, Detroit leads 4-1. Rico Petrocelli will lead off against Mickey Lolich as we go to the 8th. Lolich has given the Red Sox 7 hits today. The Tigers have 9, including a 2-run homer by Dick McAuliffe. Rico bangs one into left center field. Willie Horton up with the ball, and that is Petrocelli's second hit. 2 in a row. He has popped up, walked, and then had 2 straight singles. Runner on first, nobody out in the 8th, and Tony Conigliaro moves in. He has fouled out to the first baseman, fly to right, and grounded out to third. Foul tips it, strike 1. Strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes. Fine crowd here this afternoon. Over 27,000 on hand. 19,461 paid. Two and 2. The reason that Lolich is pitching today, as you look in the Tiger bullpen, the left-hander is John Hiller and the right-hander is Tom Timmerman. Mayo Smith explained that he wants Lolich for the Cleveland series coming up starting Tuesday. He'll work Wednesday against McDowell. Line drive foul down to John Hiller in the bullpen. 2 and 2.
Ken, I don't know whether you noticed Bill Freehan or not on the 2-1 pitch to Conigliaro. He thought he had a strike, but wisely he went out towards the mound, didn't say anything to the umpire. This is one thing a good catcher will not try and do, is show up an umpire. And coming back, while he had to face him, and you could hear it clear up here, he said it was a strike, but the umpire has the last say, it was a ball. But Freehan, a real pro.
Ground ball to Maddox. The second for 1. Conigliaro is safe at first. Petrocelli is erased. 1 out in the 8th inning, 4-1. The Tigers ahead, and Luis Alvarado comes up. Had an infield hit in the second, legged it out to shortstop, popped to short in the 3rd, and popped to the first baseman in the 6th. Strike one. Hits one to right. K-line decoying Canigliaro to second base. Alvarado on first base. Canigliaro goes to second. Notice how Al had his arms outstretched as though he might catch the ball. He was hoping that Tony might not be able to move very far away from first base, and he'd even get a chance to force him. Now Brett has started warming up again, and Moses is at the plate. Jerry has struck out, fly to left, and doubled sharply to left down the line. Maddox is guarding that line now. Foul back. One strike on Jerry Moses. One and one. The Tigers lead 4-1. Runners at first and second in the Boston eighth. Don Pavletic has picked up a bat in the Red Sox dugout. One and two. Jerry was trying to tie it up with one swing. Drive to left. Horton going over. He makes the catch. Jerry Moses lines to the left field of Willie Horton, and there are two men out. And Don Pavletic is coming out to bat for Jarvis. This will be Pavletic's first appearance for the Red Sox this year. Ray Jarvis will be leaving after working 2 innings and allowing 1 hit, no runs. And Ken Brett will be the new Boston pitcher. Pavletic last year with the White Sox batted over 300 against left-handed pitching. Strike one. High fly ball. McAuliffe, the second baseman, takes it. In the 8th inning for Boston. No runs. They had a pair of base hits and 2 runners left on. After 7 1/2, Lolich has sacrificed, foul to the catcher on a bunt try, and fly deep to right field last time. Notice how he spreads his hands at the plate. He does it on both sides, right and left. Ball one. Ball 2. Strike, 2-1. Three and 1. 4-1 Detroit. This is the last of the 8th inning. Strike 2. Ball 4. Mickey Lolich gets a walk. Mickey Stanley comes up now. He had a double in the first inning and scored ahead of McAuliffe, who homered. Grounded to short in the second. Had an infield hit in the fourth and a single to center in the sixth. So he has 3 hits and 4 trips to the plate today. The bunt, and Brett tags Stanley out. Sacrifice for Mickey Stanley. Ken Brett tagging him, and Lolich gets second. In the 9th inning for the Red Sox, Andrews will lead off as we'll go to the top of the order. Dick McAuliffe has homered, walked, fly deep to center, and grounded to third. He takes a ball. Ball 2.
Ken, I don't think Brett is throwing as hard today as he did yesterday. He was marvelous yesterday. But it's a cool day here, and it could have some effect. But 2 days in a row, it's a little tough to, especially a boy built like Kemmer. Has a great arm. I hope his arm is good because he can be some kind of pitcher.
Well, it'd be pretty hard to come back and fire as hard 2 days in a row. 3-0.
We have a final at Cleveland. Cleveland 9, the Washington 4. The winning pitcher was McDowell. He is now 2-1 on the year. Losing pitcher Bosman.
3-1. Ball 4. McAuliffe is on. So Brett here has walked 2 men in the 8th inning. Men on first and second and 1 out. And Kaline is up. He has grounded to short, had an infield hit, flied to left, and struck out swinging. Strike 1. Drive to left field. Base hit. Lolich is in to score. Here comes McAuliffe around. They hold him up. And into second base goes Kaline with a double. 5-1 Detroit. Kaline with his second hit. And his second run batted in. And the batter is Willie Horton. Runners at second and third. And Lee Stang has started to warm up in the Boston bullpen. They will walk Horton. And there's Northrop, who banged the game-winning double against Brett yesterday. Horton getting an intentional pass to fill the bases with 1 out in the 8th inning. The Tigers are ahead 5-1. Foul ball as Northrop was pulling away from a high inside pitch. Strike one. Northrop has an infield hit, has popped to third, been called out on strikes, and been hit by a pitch. Strike. 0-2. Strike 3. Northrop strikes out. And there are 2 men out in the 8th, and Bill Freehan is up. Freehan has flied to right, been called out on strikes, walked, and has grounded to shortstop. The base is loaded. 5-1 the Tigers lead. Last half of the 8th. Foul back to the screen. Strike one.
That ball that Northrop struck out on, Ken, I thought Brett reached back and gave him a little extra. That's the hardest ball he's thrown since he's been out there this inning. Good, tough pitch.
Foul ball upstairs. 2 strikes. The base runners. Strike 3. Ken Brett really pouring the ball. And that is all for Detroit in the 8th, but they got a run. They had 1 hit, and they leave 3 men on. At the end of 8 innings, the score is Detroit 5 and Boston 1. Will face Mickey Lolich. Mike has fouled to first, walked twice, and is hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Strike one. 5-1 Tigers. They got 3 in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 in the 8th inning. Boston getting 1 in the 3rd. 1 ball, 1 strike on Andrews. Two and 1. Ball 3 on Mike. 3 balls and 1 strike to count.